Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the 1994 Bandai Mighty Morphin Power Rangers toy line. Now, I wanted this to be a full-on retrospective showing everything, but I only have about half, or maybe even only a quarter of the toy line. They made a lot back in the day, so I'm going to show you what I have in a couple of pictures, but you're not going to see absolutely everything. I am actually surprised how much stuff they made. Some of the stuff is pretty cool, some of the stuff is pretty interesting, and some of it is a little bit on the wackadoodle side, which is kind of fun at the same time. So we're going to take a look at all these figures, whatever the beasts that I have, and then we'll get into looking at the Power Dome playset and do some comparisons to, yep, Super 7 Ultimates. This and more coming up on Retro Wednesday. So the media to support this was a live-action TV show which featured the 5 Rangers, and it was U.S. for the kids when you saw the Rangers when they weren't in battle. And then when they were in battle, there was some Japanese footage in there from Bandai and all of that. With that, it was kind of strange how it bounced back and forth, and it wasn't very seamless in my opinion, but kids loved it, and they really enjoyed watching it. I did try to give it a shot to watch a few episodes, and it was pretty much exactly how I remembered it from back in the 90s. But I do want to say that, oddly enough, watching the show now, I can't believe I didn't see the similarities between this and Voltron. So it's sort of like a live-action Voltron with a twist. All right, starting out, let's look at size comparison. Something that we know, superpowers, which I kind of was thinking would be similar scale He-Man, so you can kind of see where it fits with the 80s to the 90s. 90s figures got a little bit bigger, but I always thought of these as bigger than this, and I think it's a pretty good scale. If you really kind of think about it, the evolution, the graduation of these figures from 80s into 90s still fits relatively well with your 80s figures. We're going to start out with the Red Ranger. This is Jason Lee Scott, the Red Ranger. And with that, kind of fun. Kind of fun to start with the Red Ranger here. I'm just going in order of the sheet that I have. But this is Super 7, the Super 7 version versus the vintage version. I do like the Super 7 stuff the most. And with that, it looks better, more like the show and all of that because it's modern. But you can't beat the charm of the original flip heads from back in the day. So looking at all this, this is an interesting figure. We're going to pull him out. We're going to look at more Super 7 later. But let's get into what all he does. So I won't have to go through too much of this with all of them. So we'll do it all with him, and then we won't have to do everything other than just kind of showcase the different heads. But he does have the head flip gimmick, so you reset it. And this is the normal Jason Scott face, Jason Lee Scott. And then you just push the button and it flips, which is cool. It's okay. It gets the job done. And I've seen other kind of flip head things that didn't work as well. So this works pretty well for what it is. Now, they all did come with holsters and the same exact white gun. And then they all come with a special weapon. And we'll see the combination of the special weapon here in a little bit. But he has the sword, which is his part of the special weapon. Now, articulation, his head does not move. His shoulder is on swivel and it goes out. So a little bit of pretty good articulation actually overall. Not a double joint there. You can see that it has that tab so that you can hold the gun in it. They're all going to have that, so we're just going to get through this one and we don't have to go through all of this. Same thing as the tab right there. And when Super 7 made the weapons that to match the vintage, they included the hole, which was kind of fun. Legs only go forward and back. No waist swivel in this because of the gimmick. And so the gimmick does kind of get in the way of some stuff, but at the end of the day, for me in 2025, them just standing on the shelf, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, but I do want to kind of put his gun back in his holster, partially because of storage room. But I do like how they did include a holster. Some of the things that I really wish they would have done with other toy lines back in the day. So here is the Red Ranger. Let's get into the next Ranger. So the next Ranger is Black Ranger, and this is Zach Taylor. And this is the original one from back in the day, and then this one is actually a it's the Hasbro one they just made. I guess they call it commemorative, sort of a retro style version. And since we already saw the head flip gimmick here, I don't think we really need to see it again. But okay, I guess we'll see it again, see how it works. And what I want to show is the difference between what Hasbro recently did and this. And I think that they did kind of copy. There's the head gimmick, but once you flip it, you have to reset it. But I think they copied something somewhere along the way. I guess they did this, I don't know, with the 5 different teams of Rangers they made. But it's, you push the button on the back, and you get continual head flip gimmick, which I actually prefer. I think that's a really good gimmick. But looking at the difference here, it's a retro, but it is not the same. This one is much thinner than this retro. So I guess it's good that you can tell the difference, but in all reality, these figures aren't very expensive. I mean, I went down this rabbit hole because they were pretty cheap to start with. But looking at this figure, he does come with the whole base of this giant gun that we're going to assemble here in a bit. And he gets the standard gun, and pretty much everything else, same coloration, is the same as the red one, except it's black instead of red. And the head is a little bit different. Each mask is just slightly different. There's little variations on the mask. And yeah, it's kind of interesting how they did all of this. Let's get this arm turned around properly. And there he is, Black Ranger. I do believe the actor that played Zach Taylor does lots of the conventions these days and is still very, very active with Power Rangers and probably still makes a decent living just doing conventions. Next up, we have the Blue Ranger, which is Billy Cranston, and not how much more is there to say about this guy? What more is there to say about this guy? He has these accessories with him, and then the standard gun that they all come with, and there's his head. I guess I have to show the gimmick on all of these just so you can see both heads, so I can log both heads. But he's kind of like the scientist nerd guy, is that how you say it? No, the intelligent one that was not so much about the fighting, but more about the development of weapons and weaponry and equipment. But maybe in the 3 episodes I watched, that's what it seemed like. But there it goes. I might have watched 5 episodes, but still, it's interesting. Everything else is very similar. They just changed the color, changed the head a little bit, and gave him different weapons and accessories. We'll see this on how his work into it, and maybe I should be showing it all along. the big compilation, because that's going to be kind of fun. That's another really cool gimmick in this line that I didn't know until I collected it. But anyway, Blue Ranger. Okay, so we have the Yellow Ranger, which is Trini Kwan, and there she is, looking like a Yellow Ranger should. What I've noticed from the little bit of stuff at retail is that Yellow Ranger and Pink Ranger are the most common, available, most abundant. And is it because they're female characters? Is it because they put them out at the last figures they put out, so their last figure syndrome? I have no idea. I don't really know. But I would think everybody would be equally after getting every figure equally and wanting to set up a team or get a team. But I guess some people have their favorites. But let's do her flip action. Push her stomach there, and there's her head sculpt. That looks nice. Pretty good looking figure overall, and it is kind of fun to get the female characters in here. Body type doesn't look a whole lot different than the guys. Maybe it is a little smaller, but anyway, Yellow Ranger. Let's get into, I guess, the Pink Ranger. Next up, we have the Pink Ranger, and her weapon is just this bow. I guess I don't think I showed the Yellow Ranger's weapons, but we'll be seeing them again when we see the whole thing. But this is the bow. Those weapons go with, I think, the Blue Ranger, but I had spares, and it's like, why not leave it on there? That'd be kind of cool. And then here's the gun, and let's flip her head around, and there's Kimberly Hart is the Pink Ranger, and that's kind of cool. I do say that I kind of like this one because it was easy to get in all of the different forms and variations, including the vintage one. And here she is with some of the more modern ones. This is the Hasbro Lightning Collection, so the most recent that they made, which I think looks fantastic. I mean, she comes with a skirt. She doesn't come with a skirt here. Comes with a skirt on there. This is Super 7 Ultimates, which again, I like the most. And the reality is between the Lightning Collection and Super 7 Ultimates, there's not that big of a difference, really. But I could go into details on what I do and don't like. But check it out. They have the hole. So that hole that they use to grip the weapon, I just wanted to show that, is present with the Super 7 Ultimates. Is it all showing up on camera? And with that, that's kind of just a nice little throwback, nice little touch. But and then just real quick, showing these, like the extra articulation you get with the Lightning Collection leaves stuff like that looks kind of dirty. That looks unclean. Where the Super 7 Ultimate one, no one's really going to convince me that like the Lightning Collection looks better than this, but more articulation, looks better, very quaint. All right, next up we have the Green Ranger. Green Ranger's name was Tommy Oliver. Now, this is sad that the actor that played this character did pass away, and with that, I actually ended up stumbling across a Green Ranger for $3, and I said, let me go ahead and grab a Green Ranger, but then, it cost a little bit more to track one down with all the weapons and accessories, and I do like what they did with this one. So they added the gold chest piece, which is nice. And it clips in. It's a 2-piece clip in. I don't know if I did anything to make it hold on better. I probably did. There's his weapons and accessories, which I don't think are included in that little fun bit we're going to show. So it would be a good time to show that, since this concludes the combination section. His head does flip. I'm not going to mess with flipping his head around. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because this sometimes is hard to get to stay back on, and it's staying. I'm happy with that. So we're going to roll into more Tommy Oliver with the White Ranger. So let's go ahead and just take a look at this real quick before we do that. Here's the culmination of all the weapons and accessories. So we got the Pink Ranger's bow and arrow. We have Black Ranger's gun. We have the Yellow Ranger's, whatever those are, Blue Ranger's, whatever those are, and then it connects. Now, at first I didn't understand like even how all this connected, but you got to have this tab here and this tab here. One of them, I have a gun, so this is why I have more than one gun, and I didn't understand that my tabs were broken, and so it didn't hold on, but it's still good for a display gun to display on your figure, and then you tab this into here, and that's how all that goes together. Fun stuff. I really like this. This is a really good idea for a toy line. Now for the White Ranger, which I understand the Green Ranger turned into the White Ranger. Now, a handful of things I did not know. I thought these were the same figures, and that you could put this armor. I had armor that I thought was right, and I was wrong. So whatever. My armor doesn't fit it. You can't swap armor from this. You could swap this armor from the Retro, but then you're not even in the ballpark. So if you're getting a White Ranger, probably just get one with the armor on, and don't be a chump like me that doesn't have it. But at the end of the day, I don't really care that much, because I've got this nice vac metal shiny silver White Ranger, which I think is cool too. I think this was like a Japan exclusive, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't alive back then. There it is. He's got his articulation right here, which is good. That works. And getting into this one here, this one is the retro version, and I think it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty good. Let's just for fun swap the chest plate. I've had this for a year and I've never done this. I've never tried to swap the chest plate. It looks fine. It looks good. It's a little big though. I mean, it's made for a much chunkier guy. But anyway, not much more to say about this. I do think it's cool that they had the vac metal. I like that. I think it's cool that the White Ranger is just like an extra figure that they sold you and juice you for some more money. But it seems like there are diehard fans of the Green Ranger and White Ranger, and then there are people that act like White Ranger doesn't exist, and I don't understand. I just don't understand that. I'm not deep enough into the lore to get it, but I still got it. So for all of you diehard Green Ranger fans, I just want to show same head sculpt, probably a slightly different color of hair between the White Ranger and Green Ranger, but he's kind of heavily faded, or whatever you call that, discolored. So he's probably had worse storage conditions than my $3 one of the Green Ranger. But he's got a mullet. Dude's got a mullet. Rocking a mullet 2025. Oh, it was in the 90s. I think it's how I'm not going to be able to talk about all of these figures. But I will talk about the one 8-inch that I have, and it's Guitaro. He's got these kind of rubbery wings, and he looks like kind of like an insect. And he doesn't have hands. He has hooks with a thumb and 4 points of articulation. So these were all really cheaply made. So they can get them out for a real low price point, and kids can battle some bad guys, and have some fun. Their Power Rangers could go up against these bad guys, or their Megazord could go up against them, or whatever. However you wanted to do it. Whatever worked in your mind, if you didn't buy that whole jumping back and forth from US footage to Japanese footage. But they're kind of how that would work, how big that is. The rest of them are scaled similarly to the Power Rangers. Now, he did come with a staff accessory I don't have, and he didn't come with a guitar. But I understand in the show he had a guitar. He jammed on a guitar. So it's one of those weird things. I don't understand the accessories. Missing a lot of them, but I'll kind of talk about them as we go. All right, so the first beast is the Clawing Dramole. Clawing Dramole. And I'm getting all this from Toy Zinger. So I'm going to be, I guess, promoting Toy Zinger. Probably the best resource that I found for this whole Power Rangers thing. Now, this guy has a gimmick. He looks like some shark, like shark head. But, what's a Dramole? Dramole. You push this button in on the back, and his arms move. And they go up and down. So you can make his arms go up and down. And you can make him hug. Bear Hugger! Now he has this weapon here, and very special because I only have a handful of weapons for these guys. Let's push this back into here. But this opens and closes. So you can snatch somebody. He can hold it, but I think he's supposed to hold it like this. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense or anything, but so each episode there was supposed to be this giant monster that Rita Repulsa created, and then they would, of course, the Power Rangers would defeat him. That's just how this went. I don't remember if like any of these were reoccurring. Well, I can't say I remember. I didn't watch every episode, so I wouldn't know. But in the first few episodes, I don't think they had a reoccurring one. But it's each episode they had to fight something, and instead of just Rita and her putty men all over again, it was a different one. So this was one of the first beasts that they had to fight. Kind of like Voltron fighting Robeast. Well, they gave you Robeast, but, you know, in the same scale as your heroes. But this one is the Clawing Dremel. Alright, next up is Pudgy Pig. So I'm missing the Devouring Snizzard Lips and the Eye-Popping Eye Guy, which I thought I had the Eye-Popping Eye Guy. I swear. I could have sworn I had that one, but I did not. Anyway, this one, Pudgy Pig. Now, he doesn't have much articulation. His legs barely move. And his arms barely move. His hand moves a little bit. He has like a dagger, a little small dagger that he would have that I don't have. And then you push this, you push the feathery thing on the top there and on his helmet, and he chops, chop, 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 chop. He probably talks your ear off. We're gonna win. I don't know. Weird looking one. I see this one. Super 7 made this one. And I see this one. I do kind of believe most people know the earlier ones more than the later ones. That's my belief. So this one's pretty common, pretty popular. And Pudgy Pig. Next up we have the missile launching Pete and Repeat. I do not have the Killer Bite Slippery Shark. So this is the third one I have that we can take a look at. He has some articulation in, so all of this is connected. And so that's how all of that works. And the legs move a little bit. And then you push the button and it does that. So kind of an interesting little character. Now he does come with a slew of accessories that I'm missing all of them. That's kind of like a little razor saw thing that he throws. And then he's got, and I don't know if stuff launches from in here. I don't know, but I don't have the accessories. And he's got a couple of what look like swords, but they might be projectiles. Still, cool, interesting figure. Here he is from the back. And yeah, missile launching Pete and Repeat. Next up, I have Peck Attack Peck Star, which is kind of like a bird. It's got yellow and blue, kind of some cool stuff that he's got going on right here. And this is where a gimmick gets in the way of another gimmick. Now, he obviously has his wings, but then his button back here, you press the button and it goes, let's get it on camera. Caca. Wait, hold on. Push up on it. Caca. 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 I don't know if that's the sound it makes in the show. I didn't watch that episode, but there he is. And again, not bigger than a bread box, or he's actually technically shorter than these guys. Wouldn't he be so big that, well, some of them were small enough that, like, all 5 of them just took him on at once instead of having to get into something big. Not sure about his accessories. I do think he has a staff or something to go along with it. But this is where the gimmick, if these are up, you can't push that up. So you have to push that or have the wings up. And the wings kind of have some more articulation to them. If you deem that necessary, this again is the Peck Attack Peck Star. Next up we have Slash and Block Minotaur, which is, according to my calculations, my 5th of the bad guys that I have. Don't have any accessories, so it's kind of a waste, right? But it is what it is. I think he comes with a shield and like a spiky club. That's what it looks like in the package. Here is the back of him. He's got these horns. His legs move around just a little bit. Screws, you can see the construction of it. But the whole thing's based on a gimmick. Everything's got to have a gimmick, and that's their gimmick. And, you know, in all reality, if I was a kid with this, I would not have wanted the gimmick. I would have rather had just figures that were similar to what we got with the Power Rangers. Just give these guys a couple of elbows and knees and call it a day. Shoulders that move, head that moves. Head doesn't even move on this guy because of these gimmicks. So if you collect this, let me know if you like the gimmicks in it. But this is the Slash and Block Minotaur. Next up we have the Slicing Horns Stag Beetle. And so this one here is mostly brown, some maroon burgundy stuff going on with it. And he has this gimmick where you push down on this and his claws, his whatever, mandibles close. And he does look kind of creepy. Oh, that was the goal with this. Universally creepy looking dudes. The general 4 points of articulation. And that's all it does. And I'm sure it came with accessories. I can't really make it out what they are in the package. Probably a staff or something. But with that, I really didn't go after all of these accessories with these guys. Just happy to have the figures. And with that, this is the Slicing Horns Stag Beetle. Alright, this is the Stinger shooting Grumblebee. And his accessory looks like could be kind of a staff and a shield in one. It's interesting looking. If you want to go to Toyzinger, you can look up all of the accessories and stuff. But I will show you the features, which you're not going to see in a picture. You're going to see this in real life. Of course, this 4 points of articulation. He has these wings that are articulated too, so that's different. He has a ball joint on these pieces and a tail. And then you push this button. What does it do? Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. So when it comes out, it's 3 tongues. It's actually 3 piercing, whatever. 3 stingas. He's got 3 stingas. So, alright, so no one's happy with that. Anyway, this is the Stinger shooting Grumblebee. Next up we have the Sword Slashing Nasty Knight. So here's what his gimmick is. Before we get into all of his details, let's look at his gimmick. When you turn him, his sword slashes. So that's what it does. I guess you're supposed to use this lever on the back to turn him. And that makes the sword slash. So pop it up and sword slash with him. Come on. It's not a good gimmick. No, not a good gimmick. Anyway, okay. So it comes with this kind of just molded in. Strange. Kind of molded in. I bet you could get it off if you really put some time and effort into it. But it's a mace, but it's just kind of formed like it's flowing through the air. It's a shoulder pad. He has no mouth guard. And then the back's kind of boring. It's a knight, though. It's kind of cool. Kind of interesting. He can stand there on his own. And if he had his sword and shield, or his shield and what looks like a I don't know, a multi-purpose Swiss knife staff. Anyway, this is sword slashing nasty knight. Next, we've got Darting Tongue Pythor. And so his gimmick is, so I can see if I can... What you're supposed to do is pull it back, and then it pops. You can do it. There it goes. Weird. His head can turn. And theoretically, you should still be able to do the gimmick. With his head upside down. Yeah. He's got 4 points of articulation. 5. 6 points of articulation. This one is kind of interesting. It is kind of interesting. It would work its way into some different lines. You know, you could put it in with your... what would you put it? Thundercats. It would fit at home with Thundercats, fit at home with other toy lines. It just seems so odd and strange. You could even use it with your Sectars figures. Anyway, interesting gimmick, and doesn't do much else except Blick, I guess. Darting Tongue Pythor. Alright, so this one is Sword Slashing Goldar. And this one's Series 2. The last one we looked at, the Pythor, was also Series 2. So the only ones I have from Series 2. And as you can see here, kind of looks pretty mean, pretty rough. And then he has wings. So they're combining some different elements that we've seen in the past. And this same little gimmick here with the sword slashing, this works way better than the other Knight figure. And I think Goldar's like a favorite of people. Super 7 made it. It's a pretty cool figure. He does come with an axe, a shield, and 2 grenades. I looked that one up. So, cool looking figure. I like it. I like this figure. I probably might need to complete it down the road, but we'll see this again today. Next up we have Vampirus, which is Series 4. I have nothing in Series 3. See, I'm really short on these baddies of the baddies, but he's got wings, and this tail controls the wings. And it's supposed to, I guess, have that arm move, too. Okay. Can I get any of this to work right? Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? It's weird, too. He's got this one weird thing hanging out of his head. He's a little taller than the rest of them. Looks kind of mean. Mine's probably just worn out from play. I get all the stuff used in dirt cheap. So, he also comes with a question mark looking staff. And these later ones are harder to get. And as for accessories, I hung that one up. But Vampirus, pretty cool looking one. Alright, next up we've got Master Vile. And he's just one giant chunk of plastic. And his hands don't really move. I mean, I guess you could force them to, but they don't really move. Kind of rubbery. He's supposed to hold a decorative staff. It's a cool looking decorative staff. If I had it, he'd look a lot cooler. And not a bad looking figure overall, but he's just a chunk of plastic. Hollow plastic, made in it says 95 on it, Bandai. But there's this dial in the back. When you turn a dial, it turns his head, and it turns this eyeball. Different symbols show up on his chest. Not sure what the meaning of that is. I'm sure that was in an episode or something, but there is Master Vile. I think he is Rita Repulsa's dad, but I don't really know 100% for sure. Saving the best bad guy for last, and that is Lord Zed. Now, he's a Series 2 figure. I think they carried him over to Series 3. I don't know if they made any changes from Series 2 to 3. I think it was just a straight re-release, but I don't know. And this one, as an action figure, is one of the better ones. Just a straight-up action figure. I think kids would have wanted this to be like this. He's got his head moved side to side. I don't know if that notch in his head means that he was missing something he needs or not, because I should look that up. He has looks like a translucent chest piece, but it doesn't really. It refracts light a little bit, but it doesn't really do much. Not light piping or anything with it. He has this button, so maybe this button has something to do with launching something in his head. Not 100% sure, but he does have this. Now here's his staff, and I've seen different variations of his staff. There's an 8-inch one that comes with a different type of staff, and then there's a couple of different variations. I do believe this is the correct one for him, and so with that, that's why I've got him with it. And I think it's the most important figure, most important bad guy that they made back in the day. So there it is, Lord Zed, and we'll see him again. Before we go any further, I'm going to show the PVC figures. I'm not sure how many people were excited about this or excited, interested, but as I bought a few lots here and there, they showed up in them, and they all have their action poses, which kind of looks good. I appreciate these PVCs a lot more because Thundercats had a really good Kidworks line of the PVC figures, and then the Dungeons and Dragons, that's all we had all this time. So that's a big deal, or a big ordeal. Plus they had micro machines, micro masters, micro figures. Then there's some little micro ones. There's all different colors. They don't stand up very well. All the different characters don't stand up very well. Then there's also like thicker micro ones. I don't know the difference between them. They don't stand up very well. Putty one, he stands up. And there's different versions of Putty one. And then there's this guy right here, which I don't even know what they were thinking. But he's like a tiny one that has a spring gimmick in it. So there's some extra stuff that I just acquired along the way. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the Power Dome playset. It is actually kind of interesting. They did a lot of things with it. Mine's not 100% complete, but it's got enough here to show what it does. And with that, I do like a few things right off the bat. I like the back metal chromed gold. I like the hologram look. As I move this, things are going to fall, but it is what it is. Move some stuff here. And if you look at the face, I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but you can see the face. So the gimmick is interesting. I always wondered how they would do like the Visionaries playset that was going to have Merklin's hologram. This might have been how they did it. So there's a reflective mirror, but it's not exactly a mirror, but a reflective surface. Then there's a light paint of a face. And we see it, and then I bump everything and knock it over. But this is more or less a display piece. And so we got like a control center right here that has some decals on it, and this this whole front hemisphere comes off, and it's just got a bunch of stuff on it. It's kind of strange because they show the picture of the Power Rangers. You see the symbol. The symbol makes sense. But you picture the Power Rangers, you're going to have Power Rangers in it, right? This is Alpha 5. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 as his head move, 5 points of articulation. It's just really very kind of outdated type of articulation there. There's another couple of gimmicks. This thing here, you can put it wherever you want, I believe. And with that, it kind of rolls around. And you can see, like... oh, there it is. There's a picture of a Red Ranger, and then it rolls around to another sticker, a bad guy, and you can't, it's coming off. Anyway, there's that piece. Got a couple of missiles for if I ever got a cycle. I'll show the picture of the cycle. You have a launching, kind of a missile launcher right here, and you have just kind of a wall. Now, the inside of the wall, if you look back there, inside of the wall, that's a different type of wall. It doesn't have the gun mount, but you can put missiles in there. I believe this side should do the same thing. So you can store your missiles in there if you want to. There we go. And there we go. Extra missiles can be stored in there. I don't know if that was a thing, but it's a thing I do. And then we have this gimmick over here. Now, when you... lift this up, and I'm gonna push him down. When you lift him up, he's supposed to be able to. It's supposed to trigger the button mechanism and make his head pop. Now, it took me a while to get it done once, and it doesn't work very well. Here's nothing. Don't expect it to work on the first shot. Get his shoulders in there, and then let's go. Go, go, Power Rangers! Oh, try it again. There it goes. Hope that got on camera. Did that get on camera? All right. Not the greatest gimmick in the world, but it's a gimmick. Coming around to the back of it, I mean, you get to see it's got a few things going on with it. It does have the base, which is kind of like part of a rock mountain. I am missing the part where it's a cardboard piece, and I mean, it's not a big deal because I don't really have space to adequately and properly display that. This comes out, and when you turn the on switch on, you should be able to talk into this. Mine doesn't work. I haven't done anything to try to make it work. I just put batteries in, it didn't work, and I was like, no big deal. It doesn't really bother me. Now we're going to turn around like this, adjust the camera, and we're going to see it do, yeah, this Power Rangers falling everywhere. The power base is under attack. Turn that, and then this comes down. Then you have this other ramp. So here's this ramp, and then you're supposed to pull this back and launch the car. Now I don't have the cycle, so I guess I'll show a picture here, or I won't. Either way, but it's cool, clever little ideas to make it fun, and I'm glad they included something. And then you can lock this back up. Last little point about this base is you already saw with regular figures in it. This is the Super 7 Ultimates figures. It makes for a great display stand. You can display Super 7 Ultimates in it. Yes, they're too big, but they still look good. Nice little backdrop for the figures to be displayed, and I don't know. I'm tempted to display the Super 7 ones in it. Not sure yet how I'm going to do it. Guess you have to wait for the tour of this room to find out, but that was kind of a fun little thing. And actually, I've had this stuff for like a year, and this is the first time I've actually posed Super 7 figures in the Power Base. Power Dome? Alright, there are more Power Rangers that I don't have and I won't be getting. So I'm going to show this now. Basic Edition. You can find all of this on toyzinger.com. Movie Edition. Those are a whole line. Special Edition. Another whole line. Ninja Rangers. Alien Rangers, and something they call Battle Borgs. Lastly, I want to show some Super 7 bad guys here, and say what you want about Super 7. They made me appreciate this line. They did such a great job with these that I actually appreciate this line so much more, even though I'm not a huge fan of the show, and I'm not a huge fan of the 90s toys. The Super 7 Ultimates figures look so fantastic that I forgive some of that. Anyway, there it is, Super 7 and a little mixture in with the vintage stuff. Sure do hope you enjoyed this retrospective of the 1994 and 95 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from Bandai, and some of the stuff they did was pretty cool. Some interesting stuff going on there. I do think it looks nice displayed on a shelf, especially the Power Dome and the figures on there. And it works out. And it'd be kind of fun if I had, of course, all of the bad guys. And maybe one day I will. Maybe one day I'll do another review of just all the bad guys. We'll talk about this in the future if I ever get there. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you ever collect this? Is this before your time, after your time? Or was it just something you passed on? Like and subscribe. Teddy Ringer out.